praise song today is Praise the Lord with the Sound of Trumpet, which can be found in our faith we sing in 2020. That's the little black one.
Those who wish to may find this in the Pew Bible in your Christian text on page 40. The apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a deserted place by themselves. Now many saw them going and recognized them, and they hurried there on foot from all the towns and arrived ahead of them. As he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. When they had crossed over, they came to the land at Gennesaret and moored the boat. When they got out of the boat, people at once recognized him and rushed about the whole region and began to bring the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into villages or cities or farms, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak. And all who touched it were healed. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise you.
You may be seated. Today, the story today is the finish of what started 2 weeks ago. This is the other piece of bread on the sandwich that Mark created. The first piece of bread was Jesus teaching his disciples, teaching the apostles how to do their business, how to do the apostleship business. And then he sent them out. And then we had the story in between. The meat of the story was the John the Baptist story, the beheading of John the Baptist last week. And today is the other piece of the sandwich bread, or the other piece of the bread on the sandwich, which is the closing part of the first story. And again, Mark sandwiches stories like this. The disciples have returned. The apostles have returned. Those that were sent. Apostle means those who are sent. The apostles were sent out, and the apostles have come back. And they told Jesus everything they did. They first off talks about, here's what we taught. If you read it carefully, that's the first thing they tell Jesus. Here's what we taught. And then here's what we did. We put the word out first, and then we did the work that you asked us and told us and taught us how to do. Well, they've come back and they've done it. And now they're telling Jesus all about this. But as Jesus' apostles arrive, so do the followers. So do the disciples. Those that are seeking help. Those that are seeking the Word. Those that are seeking physical help. Those that are seeking spiritual lifting up. Those who are seeking spiritual help. Those people recognize who Jesus is. They've been listening to the apostles as they've been teaching in the villages, and now everybody is starting to show up. Everybody's coming to get their healing, whether it's physical, spiritual, or in some other way. They're coming to get their healing. And they're coming so much that Jesus and his disciples and the apostles can't take a break. They feed them, and they continue to come. And he heals them, and they continue to come. And he teaches them, and they continue to come. Finally, it's so much that they don't even have time to eat. The apostles can't even sit down and have a meal together. Jesus can't fully debrief them on their journey because the crowds just keep coming up. The people who need help keep showing up. And so he tries to get away. He says, let's go away to a deserted place so we can talk. So we can hash this out. So we can debrief and figure out where we went, what we did, where we went wrong, where we went right. Debrief this whole thing. And so he gets them all in a boat, and they try to go to a deserted place. And they land on the other side, and they get out of the boat. The people see them coming, and in fact saw them where they were going, in the boat. And they showed up at that spot. So when Jesus steps out of the boat, there's no peace. He doesn't get any rest. His disciples and the apostles get no rest from this. They are again surrounded by people who need him. And Jesus, at this moment, shows something that is absolutely vital to the Christian faith, the Christian message, and what we do. Jesus shows compassion. He looks at these people who are so lost. He says they're so lost. They don't know where to get healing. They don't know where to lift up their spirit. They don't know where to learn about God's creation, about God's kingdom. They don't know. And he feels compassion. He feels not sorrow, it's compassion. It's different. And so instead of then again attempting to find a quiet place, he ministers. He does his work. He teaches. He heals. Physical and spiritual. That's the compassion. And honestly, in my own personal view of what Christianity is about, that is the key. That's the most important aspect of Christianity, is compassion for your fellow person. For those that are sitting next to you, and those that are across from you, and those people you never see. Our compassion, our desire to help, to lift up, whether physically or spiritually, through word and action, it is compassion that should drive us. The need that somebody else needs help, needs lifting up. And our heart should break every time we should see someone that needs that help. Every time I see somebody on the side of the street that needs help, it breaks my heart that I can't help everybody. But I can help those that I can, and I try. But we should all feel that same thing. If our heart is truly in the teaching of Jesus, and we truly believe that God is that compassionate God of love, that cares about us, we are to reflect that. Isn't that what we are? They're image of God, and God is compassion, grace, and love, and care. And if we are to be the image of God, we have to have those same feelings, emotions, and thoughts. We have to have that compassion for the fellow person, for that other person across the way from us. We don't have to understand them. We don't have to truly understand that person to know that they need help. We don't have to agree with their life to know that they need lifting up. And that is what we are taught. And that is what Jesus is teaching in this story. Compassion, love, and caring for those that need help. That those that need to be lifted up. Whose spirit needs to be filled. Whose life needs to be transformed. That is I truly believe what Jesus was trying to teach his companions in this passage. That love and passion for others is the key. It is the driving element. It is the center focus of what Christianity is supposed to be about. Compassion for the other. Amen.